Hello everybody, this is going to be a tutorial on how to create a sword, or at least one of these swords that you see before you. The image I got from DeviantArt. I will put the link in the description in case you want to make one of these yourself. So, as you see, I have the older version of Blender. I do have the newer version, but for this tutorial series I decided to go back to the old ones, that I kind of like them too. Okay, so to put the video in the background, I did view, so right here, view, background image, and then you just little file image, you can then search for it in a normal file window, and then this checks out whether it's going to be more opaque or just not opaque. File size, not file size, but the size of the image. Move it left or right, left, up, down, and such. So, okay. So I'm gonna hold Shift, and I have a mouse wheel on my wireless mouse. I'm holding Shift, and mouse wheel's going down, and so the view's going up. I'm gonna be making this sword here and this sword there. So I can show you guys how it's going to be. So I'm going to do the simple one first. I'm going to do the straightforward one right here. So this is going to be a multiple part. Right now we're going to just do the modeling, and then in the second part I'm going to show you how to put textures to them, and then sorry about that, guys, and then do a normal map, specularity map, and maybe even a height map if we get around to it. So I'm going to add mesh a cube, zoom out using my mouse wheel, move it over to the area of the sword, and then I'm going to set to wireframe. That way I can see a general view of where the cube is, and then where my sword is. Now I can actually switch back and forth. I hit central, or not central, sorry guys, not central, but control key, and then my mouse wheel is going up, and I move to the left, hold Shift, mouse wheel down, and I go down. Okay, now I'm going to hit Tab, A to unselect everything, B, mouse, left mouse clicker, and I'm going to drag this over there, same thing over here. Then I'm going to actually move this down so then I can edit it a little bit better. So as you see, I'm not going all the way down the sword. I'm going to actually deal with this last before actually doing the handle. So select top, and I'm just going to drag it back up at some point. Move to the left, zoom in. And we're going to do this is low poly. This is not high poly realistic. Okay guys, this is low poly. Okay, so sorry guys. Low poly, like for our RPG games in Unity, where you can't have a whole lot of polygons, especially if you're doing mobile platforms or if you're doing a quickie notebook RPG game. We stopped doing this. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So I selected the top. I'm gonna hit E and extrude region. Right about there. E, extrude region again. Except by the time we get to this triangle area, I hit okay, so I hit S, that's the size. I hit Y, and that's telling me I want to size it along the Y axis. If you look in your lower left hand corner, you see a little Y X. It's going to tell you a whole lot. extrude again, and then go down. There we go. So I know it doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but we're actually going to edit it a whole lot more. We're going to move this down a bit more. And just mapping out, and usually I do the general shapes first, so we know actually what we're messing with. So okay, I'm going to unselect everything. Dang it. Okay, unselect everything, and then just, okay, so what I did there was I just double tapped B, and you get a little circle selector. You don't get that in the new blenders, I believe, and I played around with the latest ones, so. Little thing I missed right there is having that little circle selector. Just undo. Okay, undo. This extrude region, Y, and move that slightly up. Now we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. And extrude, Y, oops. Make sure all little vertices, the vertices is the little dot. And go Y, and make sure it goes down. Zoom in, and this is where we're actually going to do some work. We're going to actually pinpoint where these little vertices go. So select this one, and we're going to move that along here. We're going to move this up along here. Sorry about that, guys. It was getting really, really annoying. So, yeah. So we're just moving these. And then we're gonna do what we did up there on the top of the sword. So we're following a basic outline of the sword. We're gonna go, so we followed it mostly. Oops. And then we're going to extrude it again, follow the X. And we're going to select little vertices and then move them in. Again, this is not your high poly sword where you follow every single detail. We're getting the basic outline, and then we are going to normal map it, specular map it. That way, the normal map, specular map, show the detail. You have some detail within the modeling, but it's not like super detailed. That way you can always put it into a mobile game for your Android or iPad or iPhone device, and it's gonna look, wow, that looks great. But when you go up close to it, it's they say, oh, they used normal maps, specular maps, and they didn't actually model out every single detail because that would cause too much polygons. Unless it was for your PC game, and then you'd be able to do it. But this is more bent on massive RPGs or low end, not low end, but toward RPG games for your mobile devices. So now we're going to go to a cylinder and we're going to move it to a... Okay, vertices. I went in vertices. That is basically saying... Okay, what's up? One moment, I made a mistake. So, okay, what you want to do is you want to hit tab, so it's a solid. It doesn't have these dots. It's just one solid purple pink line. And then you put add cylinder 10, or also we'll just link the cylinder to your sword blade, and we can't have that at the moment. So as you can see, there's this little pink line. I can go to solid so you can see it better. And these 10 little vertices. We hit R 2 times, we then hit 90, we then hit R again, hit 90, and we got our sword and our sword handle. We're going to size it down a little bit smaller than what we need it. Zoom in, zoom to the left. We're going to grab it, and we're going to highlight right over the sword handle. I like getting it right in the middle, where the grip is actually at. And then we're going to size it up. And then grab down. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to tab. We're going to select one side of the vertices. We're going to go straight down to where the end of the handle grip is. Or where these little protective grip things are. And then we're going to actually work toward, we're going to work at the end of the sword with this decorative pieces. We're going to extrude, go a little bit, and then size up. Extrude, size up, extrude, go to where it has a little angles, size up, and then we're going to start sizing down again. Extrude, side down, and then size down again, and then this is where it gets a little bit tricky, not too tricky. We got a point here where there's this little point here, and then we're going to basically select around it. We're going to move it. We'll do that for now. It gets the general shape of what we want. I just figured out how to do that, but we're going to move to this side. This side is a little bit more complicated because we have some more decorative pieces. We have to actually get the general shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop right there. We're going to extrude it like we did the other side. Size it up. Extrude. Size it up. Extrude. Okay. Side up, extrude. We're going to go down a bit now. Extrude. Go down. Stretch it just a bit. Size it out a tiny bit. It's when you get into a little more detail, a little more poly count. And then we're going to size it up again. And then size it up. And we go down again. Size down. Size up. And then size it up again. That one stays the same. And then we do some more sizing down. And then we just gently put it into the sword. So we have the general shape of the sword. We can go into this. This part is where you can individually, here we go, select all these little angles and then extrude them into the sword. So they have that little angle, but we're not going to do that right now. But that is a basic view of a sword. We haven't actually finished everything yet because the actual sword bit itself is a little too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click to select, S, and then I'm going to hit Z. I'm going to go straight down. And then tab, I'm going to go to view, top, and I'm going to select all the edge vertices, and then I'm going to size them down. Select top ones, and then this is the side ones. So the inner vertices are not selected, they should stay pink or purple, however you want to say it. The outer ones are going to go to a yellow. So there we go. And I'm going to hit S, Z, we're going to go straight down a bit. And that's going to be your basic sword. We are actually going to size down the top of the handle. Go to wireframe. Size it so it looks really nice. Now I'm just going to finish this little decorative piece right here. And it should just be just barely sticking out of the sword itself. Because when you put the normal map over it, what I figured out is if you have some of the detail of what you're normal mapping, like this metal piece, then it gives it a little more detail to the normal map. And it's not just like normal map. One moment. If you have the detail over it, over the general shape, then it allows more, clarity, a little more detail other than just, oh, he just put a normal map over it. It's more, they did put a normal map over it, but they also tried to emulate the shape. Which is like, okay, that a little more detail to it. But you have to allow it within your vertice count. Okay, the next sword we're going to do is going to be this guy over here. Now this guy is a little more angled to him, so it's a little more difficult, but not much. We're going to add a cube like we did last time. And we're going to move him over here. But we're going to actually add in all the shapes before we start. Okay, so I'm going to move this guy over here. I'm going to already rotate this guy, so RR 90, R 90, and I'm going to size this guy down the shape. This is gonna add in. Okay, in the previous one we had basically a cylinder or an octagon, if you want to say something like that type shape, and a cube as the blade. We're now gonna also include a circle. In this one, or yeah, circle. Size this guy down. We're gonna hit tab. I'm gonna select one side. I'm actually going to stretch him out here. And I'm gonna select this guy. I'm gonna stretch him out there. Tab. Now I'm gonna add cylinder. I'm gonna add another cylinder, but I'm gonna make him 16 vertices, so he's got more roundness to him. He's not all bumpy. I'm gonna hit tab, and then I'm going to get out of the top view. I'm gonna select the top vertice by right clicking on it, hit my delete key, erase vertice, and then do the bottom. And then I'm gonna hit A, select all, S, Z, size him down. I'm going to side view. I'm going to select the top set of vertices, extrude. I'm going to go to more angle view. I'm going to slice them up. I'm then going to go down. That should be done. Yes, it is. I'm going to go to a side view. Extrude, size it to where it is level with the other one. So we have a cylinder shape. So go to the top and move the cylinder back into view. This way we're getting a general shape of what this is what it's going to look like when we get to more complicated shapes and swords and all that stuff. Zoom in, grab, we're going to size it over, and we're going to hit tab, and then we're going to put all the little vertices to where they usually are. Now this can become a pain if you have more vertices, but I kind of highly recommend you find your medium, or where you like the amount of vertices. I don't particularly like a high amount of vertices, but I do prefer to have a decent amount, so I don't come back and say it looks really bad. Or if I have a person I'm modeling a object for and they're like, you know, it's really good, but it does not have the amount of detail. I don't want to use a high-res normal map. I didn't want to use 1024 by 1024 texture map. I wanted to use a 512 by 512 texture map. I could afford more vertices and I didn't need the more texture map, which actually we're going to get into in the next tutorial, is the argument over, do I use high-res texture maps? Do I use double layer texture maps? Do I use low grade normal maps, or do I use low grade texture maps? Do I actually need to use a 512 by 512? Can I go lower? Do I need to go higher? How high can I go before my game engine or my game starts to, you know, fall apart? And now we did the inner, now we're going to do the outer. I mean, not everybody has the greatest computer in the world. Some people are still running off Pentium 4s, even though they were, you know, good. I mean, not everybody has i3, i5, or even a dual core. well, I mean, it's becoming more popular to actually have one. That's why certain games are taking forever to build, because people will say, okay, I get this super computer and it can run everything, and your game was really bored because I loaded it up super fast and the details were nice, but I saw errors and you know the game wasn't that great. Well, maybe, I mean, it's taking so long to build a great game and people are complaining, and it's really kind of not really the developer's fault. Well, in some cases it is, but I mean, I can see it from both sides, being a developer and a game critic. I mean, I play games too. I mean, you say, wow, it looks really great, Crysis looks really great, they're really pushing everything. And then it's like, yeah, but my computer just whizzed right through it. I mean, I could see texture edges and all that stuff. Okay, now I just duplicated it, hitting Shift D, and I just dragged it over to this new circle where we are going to grab and make this the shape of the circle over here, and then work on the blade. I mean, yeah, I mean, you look at Rage and you get really great gameplay. I mean, sometimes, yeah, I do admit it is repetitive sometimes, but you get super textures. A problem with that is, well, not really a problem with it, it's just a problem with they have low poly objects. Not really super low poly, but how many vertices or triangles can we not put into the game? Because they were pushing next generation consoles, huge environments, real-time situations. I mean, BioShock Infinite was pushing like the Xbox 360, and they had to cut down on their poly count. If you look at their objects, some of their objects have edges, and I'm like, okay, a vase does not have an edge. I mean, it does, but come on. I mean, it looks like they didn't have all the poly count they could have had. I mean, look at this right here, guys. Like, I'm having to move vertices to make this more cylinder because it's becoming more edgy. I put more vertices over here, it looks smoother. Over here, it looks, you know, like I have edges. That's where normal maps come into play. You make them look rounder, but you have to kind of like make it look round in the first place. Okay, so we have the basic shapes, and now we're gonna actually go to the sword part, the last part. So I'm gonna zoom in. I'm actually, I'm going to start all the way down on the bottom. This sword will be a little bit more vertices, a little more poly count, due to the fact that it's got more detail in it. And right now we're going to get the general shape. We have a curvy and a straight edge. So we're going to have to kind of play a little bendy game with it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go straight down. And it's a little cylinder. Go straight down. And there we go, zoom out. Let's go over here and rotate. But let's see, actually we could afford not to do that. And we could just go straight here and deal with this later. And just deal with half the sword basically. And then we're going to extrude Y, the size. And here we go, we get a little more work to do. We got extrude region. Extrude. Extrude. And size it down. Extrude. Extrude again. I also on this one I wanted to have a little more poly count. This is to show you guys what a needed poly count, and then what would happen if you just put a little more extra poly count into it. So this one will have a little bit more, but not much poly count into it. So let me put extra detail into this. Zoom in, get some little extra more detail. And over here we should actually start moving into here, so what I'm going to do is actually I want to undo that, and I'm going to just extrude it a bit, and then I'm going to move this over here to where the dark edges are. Shoot up to the point. Extrude it again. X. I kind of really want to make this, bendy part of the sword kind of like really cool. I was like, should I use less polygons, just make it quick? I was like, nah, let's just, make it really, really awesome. So okay, we have a small bend in the sword up top, so I'm going to start bending up. There's where you take your vertex and you customly, you put it there specifically, and then select them, and then extrude X, and I'm just gonna go straight here, and then I'm gonna hit Control, grab, and just kind of like place where needed. Grab this and just place that there. extrude, grab X, extrude it again, but this time we have this little edge piece in, so I'm going to cut it off right there. I'm going to say okay, place that there. Select both of these, and then I'm going to hit W, subdivide, grab that, hit that there, W, subdivide, grab, and put that there. So we have the basic outline of a sword, and now we're going to actually put in some more detail. So I'm going to select everything, extrude by, oops. Okay, need to do this piece by piece. A little bit different than the other sword. And to put a little more detail into this, I'm going to select those, hit W, subdivide, and just make the angle there. We're going to go back to it and add a little more detail. Grab this, put that straight up. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of better ways you can do this. I'll probably be putting out more tutorials of how to make swords with better ways on how to do this. This is just one way with this particular sword. I'll probably do it even better in the future. So you guys going, because some of you are going, come on, you're doing it all wrong, and I'm like, yeah, could be doing it all wrong, but for this particular sword, I think I'm doing fine. just need to follow the outline from here on out. And just do this edge piece, I'm going to subdivide and grab this piece down here, move it to the inside of the little cylinder piece, and from here on out I'm going to extrude rotate using R, extrude again, grab using G, rotate, extrude, grab, and just finish off right there. Now I do see one last thing we could do. You just take the cylinder and then take its vertices and select all of them. Go SX, B, and just kind of generally SY. Size them up. Take a little more personal approach and select a few of them. And get them. Okay, that should be good. Zoom out, hit tab, so we're not actually hitting any vertices, and then there's a side view. Now we do need to select this, hit S, Z, hit Z again. Go to picture view, top. I want to see how actually this thing's supposed to look like, so I'm gonna go, okay, so it looks like this thing's supposed to be a little bit bigger. And then the actual blade. So look at the general look of it. And now I'm going to select the sides of the sword. I'm going to hit top. And I'm going to select them. Except for the bottom ones, for the handle is. Some of these you have to actually individually select, so that's what I actually have to do. I'm going to go to the top view again, top part of the sword, go all the way down. And then I'm going to, forgot those, size Z, go slightly down, not a whole lot. Top view, hit A to unselect everything, and then since we already selected this one, I'm going to go one down. Oops. Okay, I'm going to go from the bottom up. Yeah, sometimes you gotta take your time with these. selected them. Z. Go to solid view, and here we have our basic sword, and we're gonna basic swords. And now in part 2 we're gonna texture them. I'm gonna show you normal mapping, specular mapping, and so forth. So see you later, guys.